Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Prasad Jaladi, founder and chief facilitator of Suraksha. We're having a wonderful discussion on water management in urban regions. Our guest is none other than Mr. B.V. Subba Rao garu. He's a geologist by training. Welcome, Mr. B.V. Subba Rao garu. Mr. Rao has led through on integrated water resource management since the 1990s. He is the fountain of knowledge in this subject and also all the technology related to that, including mitigating climate crisis, etc., because of the heavy rainfalls and water flows, and also management of canals, rivers, and of course lakes and hydro projects, etc. So welcome again. So let's focus on a few things that are not usually available on this kind of discussions in public. So, shall we talk about water infrastructure today?
Yes.
So, actually, what is water infrastructure?
Yeah.
Even I don't know much details
No,
about it.
I'm
I know a few, but I mean,
which is the basic, issue. Okay. Because without the water, no life form survives. And not only for the survival, we are using for recreation, luxury, and whatnot. And let us understand the basic water infrastructure and how it is missing from the urban planning and development.
Oh,
Okay, that is most important.
I never thought
Because
that it has that link.
yeah, because I was almost 14 years in the Urban Environment Management Institute in Usmania University, which is a government of India's outfit. And I was dealing mostly with the municipalities in those days. Okay. I learned a lot from that, interaction with. The most important thing is what is water infrastructure. You see, if you look into Indian history, we have a great water management history for 5,000 years. Right from Mohenjo-daro, Harappa to Vijayanagar kingdom, and then the Nizams of Hyderabad, and then Kakatiyas of Warangal, all that. Cholas, Pallavas from Tamil Nadu and other areas, and Karnataka also. Okay, Vijayanagar kingdom. But thing is, we were right from the day one we got the independence. All our thought process, the policy makers, and the movies also, the popular movies. Town Upakka Kelladdu Road Dingari. Do Biga Jameen. So we were somehow, promoting the policy that the backbone of the country is the rural economy, panchayats and all. And urban is totally neglected in the governance.
So you brought up a very great point here, sir. We have a lot of history in dealing with water and other things right from the Mohenjo-daro civilization, which I think taught a lot of gave a lot of ideas also to the other civilizations in those times, or maybe whoever are traveling to see how India is doing in different things. A lot of Chinese and Italians visited our country, so they might have taken a lot of knowledge along with them, seeing after this kind of water managing systems in those days. Please go on, sir. I'm feeling so proud of our
Yeah,
history.
some of the management practices which I came across in the rural area, south of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, north of Karnataka, where India failed is taking the basics from the history
Is it so?
and water management, okay, and upgrading, fine tuning for the contemporary situations. We don't talk of. We say, my grandfather is a foolish fellow, he doesn't know English. Okay. And very interestingly, even the colonial rulers did not intervene in the grassroots water management systems of the country. Maybe at the latest stage. And one such practice which I came across in south of Andhra Pradesh, Kuppam, I could find the same practice in the contemporary 21st century in San Francisco drinking water system and also in the New York drinking water system. I was shocked actually.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Really, still I'm continue to work on that. You see, in any water management system, you have two categories. One is the fellow who lives on the upstates and, releases water to the downstream. And the downstream fellow, in a larger scale, we call them coastal areas or whatever it is. Naturally, they are the beneficiaries. Yes, And he is getting the benefit because of the rain that coming from upstreams. So don't you think that you have a moral responsibility to reciprocate to it?
Right. Here we are talking about rivers and their tributaries, right, sir?
No, I'm talking about the water management, even in the lake.
Okay.
And today, the lack of, some agreements between these two people flared up in a big conflict in urban water management. So, which are the areas which are getting inundated? The colonies downstream the lake. Yes?
Yes. Are there low-lying areas too, by the virtue?
Yes, where the water naturally goes there. Because of mismanagement, we are not trying to hold the water in the lakes. Though we have 5,000 years of, agrarian society with rich water management practices, I do not know where the things have gone wrong. Okay. Maybe in the academics and academics to practice. Okay. But India has failed in understanding, appreciating the basic principles of water management of our traditional conventional systems.
So this brings me to a question: who should own it, sir? Who should own it?
Who should?
Who should own it or manage it?
You see, the whole problem is
water infrastructure.
Whole problem is till 1990s, the water management was with local governing bodies, panchayats and municipalities. In my panchayat, if I have 3 lakes, I take care of 3 lakes. Okay. And during the same period, the late P.V. Narasimha Rao, the then Prime Minister, he tried to bring 72, 74th amendments, and Rajiv Gandhi also tried. We call 3 governance systems: local government, state government, and central government. After 90s, what happened? The entire powers of the local governments was hijacked by the state governments.
Is it so?
Yes,
I
70
thought
to
no, the
74.
governments are progressive as far as I look at these governments from outside of the India. I thought we are progressing. So,
No,
oh,
we have totally undermined the capacities of the institutions at ground level.
oh, I see. I see
Because
the
I
point.
worked with panchayats on lakes, and after this power has been taken by the state government, for a lake which is far away 500 kilometers from Hyderabad, can I expect the farmers to come to the secretariat and ask for the permissions?
Yeah, that's a long distance to travel. It is hardship,
And
I would say.
people have lost their sense of belongingness to their own resources.
That's
You
really
see,
sad,
what
unfortunate thing. Yeah.
but whereas a country like USA is adopting this, and Mexico, I have the copy of a national policy on this grounds. So where are we? Though we call, Prime Minister said democracy was started in Tamil Nadu, some temple area and all. But are we making any attempts to integrate or mainstream or fine tune those principles in the contemporary democratic system?
That's a great question. You drew a stark difference between how the things are working in West and how we are managing, even after so many visits by our ministers, chief ministers, and prime ministers. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that is one thing. We have delinked the linkage, the emotional linkage, the belongingness to our own natural resources. Okay. Particularly with water. The linkage is with water. Villages have come because of the water only. Okay. When my water is managed by some minister in Hyderabad or Chennai or Bangalore, how do I get interest here? I do not get anything.
Yeah, that's a very interesting analogy. Yeah.
In my childhood, one of my uh, forefathers' house was just opposite a lake, and there used to be a big board: "Do not wash clothes. Do not take cattle to the bath." You know
Yeah.
that was the power of the panchayat.
Yeah. That you are right, sir. I this came to my mind afresh because I lived here when I was a child, and I used to see such signs near wells and wherever we collect water, especially for
So,
drinking water,
so
etc.
what happened is, you know, the two seniors, like my immediate brother and me, more influenced by the Western scientific engineering education systems.
Mhm.
They did not bother to look into to what were the things at the ground level, the conventional things and all.
So
But
you
I do
think
not.
So you think whatever the Western education or the outlook that they are getting from the West is not synchronized with our local systems or local needs? Is that what you are pointing out?
Yes, because any city, I can tell you, Hyderabad for that matter, the natural drainage system, the surplus floodwater diversions were constructed more than 300 years back. You know
Yes,
that?
yes.
There are two major drains, natural drains, Firanginala and Balkapurna, okay,
Mhm.
which used to feed surplus floodwaters to more than 30 lakes.
30 lakes.
That was a flood mitigation and also rainwater harvesting a dual purpose infrastructure. Today, both the nalas vanished under the buildings.
Wow.
The only arrogance of the engineers is we can construct a new one. How can you? Now they are struggling it. Okay. So what I see is, though we call it a rich, heritage of knowledge and other things, in practice, in taking this into education system, we have totally failed. That I can challenge anybody.
So, if I understand it right, yeah, I lived in Hyderabad also before leaving to US, and I do come here every other year. So, you're saying our love on land brought to this kind of situation, losing lakes and everything,
Yes, yes, yes,
struggling for water, maintaining water infrastructure.
yes, yes.
Am I right?
You see, why I'm telling is, as a child, I know we had what is called Urban Land Ceiling Act.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
One can own only one house in the city.
Mm.
Today, you go and talk to any IT guy, he says, I have 3 apartments. Why? Is it necessary? So, our perspective towards resources undergone a metamorphic change.
Mm.
Today, we are not talking in terms of sustainability and in terms of our moral responsibility to pass on the resources to next generation. I have only one classic example. Today, government is demolishing all the illegal structures across the country. Okay? You can caution me, sir. Across the country. Everybody is happy. Okay, illegal structures. But my question is, the same officers who gave the permission now are spectators of demolition.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Okay?
So they are not owning the
Yeah,
problem then. So,
no, it is not pinned down.
mhm.
No officer is behind the bars. Okay? And the second thing is, who take the responsibility of vanishing natural resources?
Mm.
You have demolished a 10-story building. How much granite, gravel, sand, cement, color has gone into it? And the debris is also not recycled for further use. Then who is responsible? Are we responsible citizens towards the natural resources?
Yeah, that is money, in other words, right? That is also
Yeah,
money,
yeah.
and also pollution,
Whose money? No, whose money?
public
All
money.
these builders who constructed, they took huge loans from public banks.
Mhm.
So it is not his father's money. It is public money. So water management in urban areas takes us to different levels of moral responsibility, rectifying the system. We are not talking of individuals.
How do we manage the water infrastructure with all these issues? How do we do these things at this juncture?
You see, the whole problem is there is no water infrastructure. Okay.
Hmm.
First thing is the people should understand. Unfortunately, today, in spite of 90% of literacy, country suffers from water illiteracy. We talk of subway, underground path, flyovers for the traffic and vehicles to move. But we are not talking of how the stormwater will go out. Why water is moving backwards. A city like Chennai and Mumbai, where they are located right on the banks of a seashore. That is the ultimate thing, where rainwater goes. Yes or no?
Yeah, I live in Texas. Even in Texas, in some cities, they need more than 50% of more rainwater to suffice the current urbanization. So if that is the situation of West, we need to learn these lessons real quick and act upon them very fast so that we don't get into the same problem here also. What do you think?
Yeah, you see, today what I feel is, across the world, across the world, people have forgotten the very purpose of travel. If you look into the travel, Huyan Sen, who came from China, went to Nalanda University, okay,
Yeah.
to learn, the zeal to learn. I traveled more than 8 times to USA.
May I stop you here? No, many of our youngsters and everybody is traveling to different countries nowadays. Is the travel a lesson nowadays? Is that what you are saying, or the learning of around that thing?
No, no, what I am saying, travel is there.
Okay.
You may be going for a business purpose, for a conference purpose, but your enthusiasm to learn beyond that.
I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. Some curiosity, you're talking about. I went to Texas, Houston. I came to know one news. So very next day morning, I went to Houston Zoo. Because I have till this date, good friends from forest department, and so the curator asked me, "What made you to come to zoo in AES?" I said, "I have come here to see my animals. Nellore breed is there in Houston Zoo
Wow.
with a placard saying, 'This is the only breed in the world which drives the insects and the mosquitoes. It has that rippling effect. We Indians, we have failed in reading, learning from our ancestral knowledge.' Do we say that the contemporary situation we have overcame everything? No. Same water shortage, same water pollution, escalated. So we are only looking into some kind of a technological know-hows from the other world. I have not come across one Indian coming from US and saying that US has some very good case studies of water management.
So I'm wondering, we talk mostly about using water, thinking it as an infinite source. Is that so?
No. How can we say that? In the forefathers' period, it was raining 600 millimeters or 700 in Hyderabad. It rains only now also. But the only thing is, pattern has changed. This 700 or 800 used to be divided in 30 days. But yesterday Gujarat has Ahmedabad experienced 290 millimeters one day.
Wow.
That is almost 45% of the annual rainfall. Is the system prepared to take care of it?
I am wondering how the system could manage this thing. It's over challenging, right?
Yes, you see, the whole problem is we have control on ourselves, but not external forces.
Yeah.
We have to tune ourselves to the external forces to get the maximum benefit. Yes or no?
Yes, I agree with you.
So you need a change in the perspective of education system, training systems, How do we prepare? So every year I conduct one seminar. Nowadays I am only doing video. Is our city rain ready?
I don't think so. My feeling is we should be doing this kind of seminars or workshops quite often nowadays because many people are looking in different, areas to work and all those things, living in city, but they are not aware what is happening around them, especially in the water context. Water is life of any living thing, most of the living things, I would say. But we are ignoring the basic need called water for ourselves.
What I am highly impressed with the US society is you have environment interpretation or nature interpretation centers everywhere.
Mhm.
And I came across a small booklet for kids prepared by EPA with Purdue University. You know what is that? The question is first page question. Do you know when you flush out, where does this water goes? So from the flush out to, it takes the kid to the sewage treatment plant. Is it not a great education?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we should
In,
be thinking
in
on
the,
those lines. Moving on,
yeah,
we are approaching to the top of our discussion here. How do we manage? How do we store water, or how do we what we call recoup with this kind of situation? Water is coming and we are losing it, and even the rain, we are not able to catch this water. How do we plan for it?
see, the whole thing is ours is a democratic country. We need to move things and strengthen all the three governance structures. So, though we are transferring waters from one place to the other, but it is the local rainfall and the water resources, how we manage is challenging.
Mhm.
So we need to start with the basics. I'm just referring, in one of the coming video talks, I will show you the small booklets which I also prepared as an education process.
That would be a great opportunity to learn from you for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Definitely, it's my
bringing
pleasure.
back your attention on to this thing, is water recharge is a solution in the long run? Seriously, recharging
I
of
know,
water?
I see only one thing. You see, we started this some 35 years back.
Mhm.
What is called integrated water resource management.
I see.
Okay. Every area where, I was born and we had a river, walkable distance from my home, and we have a lake, walkable distance. River water was muddy, and my well water was brackish. So we used to go all the way to the lake and get the water for drinking.
Yeah.
That village was conserving lake, river as well as the well. Well water we are using for non-potable purposes.
Yes, yes, I remember. Yeah, in my childhood. Yes.
So this kind of a integrated water resources management. Today, what we have been given an arrogant thought is we don't need anything. Lake, no. Well, no. My tap is good. Now my tap is dry.
Hmm.
So let us not think of only rainwater harvesting. We have to revive the integrated water resource management. because even the rainwater harvesting, I wrote some 28 years back. You cannot do rainwater recharging in Jubilee Hills. Can you? No.
No.
It's all a granitic rock. Okay. You cannot do groundwater recharging along the Musi because it is black soil.
Yes.
Water doesn't absorb. Okay. So, do we have practical maps where you can do rainwater recharging and rainwater harvesting? Harvesting is direct collection and storage.
Yeah, that's a brilliant thinking. Yes.
So, if you feel that, I am trained in Thailand on rainwater harvesting, 92.
Wow.
So people used to laugh at me when I was talking on rainwater harvesting. So historically, I documented all those things. Okay.
Mhm.
So I would like to give a PowerPoint presentation on these things.
Definitely, we're going to do this thing, sir. There are many worthy ideas from your end. I hope our I'm sure that our next episode is going to be very, very interesting to many people, and I'm sure that they're going to learn a lot. So, including me, we all look forward to do that and get that kind of information from you so that we know so many things with your experience, and we all got to do something about this thing because water is the precious thing and we cannot reproduce it like any other thing if we even if we want to, and even if we dream of doing that thing, that is a costly lousy thing, so we can't even think of attempting that way. So thank you so much for your valuable time today. I personally learned a lot of things, and I hope our viewers and listeners also will be learning a lot from you. Thanks again for your great service, sir. We need experts like yourself to talk boldly and involve in policy making so that we don't make any mistakes for taking care of our future generation. If at all we are not thinking straight today. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time again.